The gigantic The Line project by Saudi Arabia has published plans. It is described as a single-build city in the desert that will extend over 106 miles and eventually house 9 million people. According to a statement by the kingdom's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the proposed futuristic metropolis will be situated in the northwest of the Gulf nation, close to the Red Sea, and is a component of the Neom project, a massive undertaking years from completion. The Line is a 500-meter tall, 200-meter wide, 656-foot skyscraper that would function as a vertical city. According to the press release, it will cover 34 square kilometers. The project's technological viability has been questioned by critics, and the dystopian vision presented in a glitzy promotional video has been labeled as such by others. The Line is a component of the Saudi Arabian government's Vision 2030 rebranding strategy, which aims to make the country's economy more competitive with those of its Gulf rivals like Dubai and Abu Dhabi. By the end of the decade, the goal is to welcome 100 million tourists annually, with the expectation that the increase will generate billions of dollars for the regional economy. The Neom project in Saudi Arabia, a massive development spanning 3 nations that started building in 2019, has just announced plans for a mirrored skyscraper, which is the latest advancement. According to reports, the city will be run using artificial intelligence and clean energy. The features of a promised digital paradise include enormous artificial moons, flying taxis, and robot maids. The plans will put modern flat, horizontal cities to the test and develop a prototype for protecting the environment while improving human livability. The Line will address the issues that humanity is currently confronting in urban living and highlight other lifestyle options. According to the press statement, bin Salman, the Saudi government, the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund, PIF, a sovereign wealth fund led by bin Salman, as well as domestic and foreign investors, have committed $500 billion to the Neom project. The completion date of Neom has been delayed by another 5 years from its original target date of 2025, but the Crown Prince says the enormous project is still on schedule. The cost of the dream, though, is actually threefold. First, you must set aside not only your emotions, but also all of your knowledge about the climate problem. The construction of Neom will take place at a time when wet bulb temperatures in the Arabian desert already surpass 20 degrees Celsius for half the year, and are expected to rise further by the end of the century. Many Middle Eastern countries are working to transition away from carbon-based economies and toward alternatives that draw visitors from across the world for tourism, commerce, employment, or residence. This is necessary given how quickly climate change is progressing. One such instance is the Neom development, which will be constructed in Saudi Arabia. The $725 billion futuristic city The Line, which would accommodate 9 million people, is a crucial component of the plan. It consists of a 500-meter tall, 200-meter wide mirror-like wall-like structure. The project would stretch 170 kilometers inland from the Red Sea across coastal desert, mountain, and upper valley landscapes. It will be constructed in Saudi Arabia's northwestern Tabuk area. The Line asserts to have created a new standard for sustainable growth. A small portion of Neom's 26,500 square kilometer property, its footprint is only 34 square kilometers, less than 4 square meters per person. As a result, the landscape may be treated with more care than one might often expect for a megacity. The Neom proposal also includes a port for shipping, an airport, research facilities, sports and entertainment venues, and tourist attractions. The project seems impressive environmentally at first glance. The distance from any place in the city to the urban edge is no more than 100 meters. No portion of the line is more than 20 minutes away thanks to a high-speed electric public transportation service. Living in such a massive building suggests a cramped lifestyle. However, each person would theoretically benefit from an average urban volume of 1,000 cubic meters. That's a lot more hospitable than most living conditions in congested cities. Unfortunately, a complex vertical transportation system would be required, as in many high-density, high-rise structures. The building has the same height as a typical 125-story skyscraper. At $55,000 per inhabitant, the project's costs also appear reasonable. Let's assume that this is just relevant to infrastructure and is feasible in a nation with employment costs that are significantly lower than those in industrialized nations. Even said, it is still unclear how the largest building ever built can contain modern infrastructure, ultra-high-speed rail, and other services. The Line is not the first work to use a linear structure. In 1882, the Spanish urbanist Arturo Soria y Mata created the idea of the linear city. Utilizing infrastructure, such as water, electricity, gas, and transportation, along a constricted, linear metropolitan corridor allows for significant energy savings. The idea behind the design was to urbanize the countryside and ruralize the metropolis. This idea is echoed in the line. One does question its effects on the landscape, though. How can a continuous, 500-meter-tall mirror wall that spans 170 kilometers of the landscape and reflects desert heat and light influence the local biodiversity? Living with no emissions is the goal of the line. Renewable energy is used, green hydrogen generates export revenue, wastewater is recycled, and the newest smart city innovations and mixed-use structures are all present. Driving a car is avoided in favor of traveling by foot, bicycle, and public transportation. However, the building and materials for such a massive undertaking might be incredibly emissions-intensive. According to the idea, nobody would be more than 2 minutes away from nature, in other words, the urban edge at ground level. But is the time spent waiting for a lift taken into account? Without proper planning, a heavy dependence on vertical transit could dash plans for precincts that are actually bikeable or walkable.